All right, and now that we have established this link, we are happy to open all of ourselves up to all of your wonderful perspectives and points of view. How are all of you today?
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming. To whom are we speaking? Is this Ryouk or Ryouk? Sorry.
Yes, this is Ryouk in this matter. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. I'm very pleased to meet you and to welcome you to Human Colony and to our group here. We do have some questions, if that's okay, or do you have anything you would like to share straight away? Or
we open ourselves up to whatever it is you wish to begin the conversation with, and we will provide other points of view as necessary.
Perfect. The first question is from Ava. Go ahead, Ava. Oh, sorry. We're gonna have to wait for her to come back. We have motorcycles running around. She keeps dropping out of the chat, but she'll be back just shortly. So you're from the Sassani civilization?
Yes, this is accurate.
Yes. So are you? Because we do know many of us are aware of another being from your society called Bashar.
Yes.
Yes. And also I'm quite aware of. I don't know if you know, but the channel is named Sean Swanson, and he is also channeling the some of the Sassani organization. I don't know if you're aware.
Yes, we are aware of all channels that are bringing through emanations from our civilization. And this is part of an orchestrated energy on all of our ends to facilitate deeper levels of connection with your society.
So everyone that is channeling someone from your society, are they related in some way? Are they?
Yes, they are. You would understand a network of family constellations are taking place here, in the sense that many of the beings on your earth that are bringing through members of our society are typically having soul contracts with these members of our society, or they are actual incarnations of the same soul in both societies. And the channeling is just a symbolic representation of that soul-based connection. So you'll find that this is actually very common amongst many members of your civilization that are contacting ours through channeling.
Perfect. And so we understand also from Bashar and that the Sassani are to be really the first contact when contact happens, that is part of your role in the universe to facilitate contact with new societies. Is that correct?
This is correct. We like to play this game, and we understand that there are other beings playing this game as well from other societies, but we tend to gravitate to those who are most immediately ready.
Okay, perfect. And Ava is back, so I want to give her a chance to come back on and ask her question. Ava, are you able to ask your question? She popped back in, but I don't know how her connection is. Okay. She's going to try to come back in. So I'll ask another question. So because there's a lot of people now, we know several channels that are connected to your society. For the people that are watching, the people that are listening, if they want to connect, is it a given that they will have an incarnation in your society, or
typically is.
Typically that every single human on the planet will have a counterpart within your society?
There are some exceptions. We're speaking mainly to those who actually desire to channel or connect with our society will find they want to do so, either because we are reflecting to them a very strong aspect of their own consciousness, or we are also showing them an aspect of themselves that is actually incarnated in our civilization. So many people on your world are having these simultaneous incarnations with us, but there are some exceptions of those whom do not have this shared connection.
Perfect. Okay, Ava, are you able to ask your question?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let her do it while she's here.
Yes, my computer is something so. Hi, thank you so much for speaking to us. I have a question. Well, on one hand, I would really love to find out a little bit more about what's going on right now on this planet in the United States. But also on a personal level, I am moving from a state of negativity, mainly, which I can call it this way, honestly, to higher vibrations. And I am quite often overwhelmed by, maybe I should mentioned that I'm highly empathic. By people around me, I can hardly talk to my friends anymore. And probably it's not just me who is experiencing it. Could you give any advice on this subject?
Yes, I will say the following. Your friends are triggering something in you must release. Because understand, if you are experiencing the point of view where whatever you would call negative energies present in others are creating feelings of being debilitated within your own being, because it has that feeling of connection to you, saying, oh my goodness, I feel so disempowered, I feel so weak, and whatever you might say when you're around these people, that is your consciousness's way of saying there's something contained within you that is in such a strong amount of resonance with whatever they're showing you that it's creating that feeling of intensity. That's more or less what's happening generally when that's occurring for individuals. And I would advise to investigate, okay, well, what is the theme of what's being felt negatively within myself when I'm in proximity to these people? And through investigating with that kind of lens, you may be able to get to a root cause understanding much more quickly.
Okay, thank you so much. I will give it a serious thought. And can you tell us a little bit about the state of affairs of Earth? I mean, what's happening in terms of humanity as well as the planet?
Yes, it depends on what version of Earth you're looking at. But I'll speak, and I'm saying that to open your points of view a little more, understanding there's infinite versions of this planet that you experience as one planet. So understand that it always depends on which version of Earth you're actually looking at. In general, whatever your inner emanation is, whatever your inner vibration is, will dictate what version of the infinite Earths you will experience directly. So right now, in this moment, I will speak to your collective in such a way where I will begin just to narrate slightly some of what we are seeing in all of the other parallel Earths that are in resonance with yours. They are experiencing similar themes to help paint a bigger picture of what is occurring within your society and within your planet. Earth right now is going through a particular phase in its development where enough inhabitants of your surface have reached a particular level of unification within your collective understanding of reality. Understanding that you have had collective understandings of reality in your past. But many of these collective understandings have been highly negative, and it would yield your collective to then create a negative point of view of the Earth time and time again, because your common understanding was based in negative points of view. Enough members of your society in the dream world have unified a new point of view as the common thread for the shared story of what's happening on your planet. And because this new unified point of view is more positive, your collective version of Earth is beginning to reveal this to you. And you'll find that you're going to have easier accessibility of what you call the versions of Earth that are positive than you did before. And you're going to be able to much more easily, much more quickly slip into that version of reality, should you so choose to emanate a vibration within yourself that's in resonance with that version of Earth. Right now, you have a much easier ability to do that. And if you find you're on a version of Earth that you would call negative or is experiencing negative themes, or your current personal realities are showing you negative themes, understand that the only reason that is being reflected to you is to assist you in your transformation, so you can let go of whatever vibrations are actually in resonance with those negative realities. And as you begin to release those, you will be a better match for the new level of unity consciousness your society has now built in the dreaming world that you can begin to connect with.
Thank you. Those are the wisdoms I keep forgetting. Thank you.
You are quite welcome. We are happy to always remind you of that which you already contain as an infinite being.
That's very true what she said, that those are the things that people forget, that they are constantly shifting. They're able to shift. And the reason that we do come in contact with many different versions of contrast is so that we can heal it and have the realization of it and then choose something different. So thank you for that wonderful reminder. Alex, you have a question. Go ahead, Alex. Can you ask yours? Do you want to ask yours live or?
Yes.
There he goes.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello, and how are you today?
I'm well. Thank you.
You are quite welcome. Let's proceed and begin.
Yes. I just want to know if I have what
I'm not
links I have
hearing
connected.
him. I'm not hearing his question. His question is, do I have, Alex, can you say hello again or?
Hello.
Hello, we are able to hear you.
Yes. You're hearing me. I'm Karen, but we're trying to get Alex, who's coming.
We are able to hear Alex.
You are? Okay, I'm not able to hear him. Fine. If everyone else, can everyone else hear him? Okay, everyone else is hearing him. Perfect. So I'm in a different reality where I can't hear him. It's no problem. I'll just trust that whatever he's saying is coming through. Go ahead, Alex.
Thank you. So I'm wondering what connection I have with Sassani. Yes.
All right. All right. So we are looking at your connection points. You have 6 incarnations in our society, 1 in our present reality with my own self.
I see.
2 within a future reality. 2 at an earlier reality. And you have 1 at an origin creation point within our species. You have multiple incarnations here.
Okay, thank you.
You are quite welcome.
Perfect. Thank you. Someone has to tell me if you finish it asking your questions, because I don't know.
I did. It's one simple question.
Did he say yes?
Yes,
oh,
I
yeah.
do.
Okay,
yes,
perfect.
thank you.
All right. There's a question from Lilypad. Don, do you want to ask that question for her? From the chat. Some of these questions are coming from the YouTube chat, and so Don is reading them, just so you're aware. Go ahead.
Question from Lilypad is, do you have a pet in your spaceship?
We have animals from our world that co-inhabit the spaceship with us by choice, but we do not claim ownership over them. They typically come to actually assist us in our own relationships with one another because we use our animals as teacher spirits, but as incarnated teacher spirits. In other words, we experience their spiritual dimensions just as we experience the spiritual dimensions of one another. And they will actually choose in their generosity to share their experiences with us on ships, but we claim no ownership. They also have points of view where if they need to, they can begin to travel back to our home planet or to other star systems that they are also coming from. But yes, we do have what you call levels of animal consciousness and its interesting extraterrestrial components that share the space with us.
Thank you.
So the concept of a pet is not actual.
Correct.
No, and it's because of the level of relationship we have with them.
Okay.
We just simply see more of their autonomy being displayed from our point of view than most of you typically do with the animals you encounter on your Earth. You only tend to experience the more physicalized aspects of their being. And when you see the more underlying spiritual dimensions, you can connect with their soul in that way and understand what it is they're going through, what it is they want, and what it is they're experiencing.
Okay, perfect. Christine has a question for you. Go ahead, Christine.
Greetings and blessings. I was wondering, can you connect to my animals, to my companions?
Yes.
Could you tell me if I'm being a good companion to them?
Yes, one of them wants you to look a little bit higher. We're speaking poetically here. You have an eagle being that is connecting with you, and this being is asking for your point of view to be expanded, to be able to be in resonance with the realities it is showing you, because it is giving you alternate points of view that you can adopt if you so choose. And this is one aspect that we can reveal to you about your animal guidance. But yes, you are being complimented by them, especially the ones that are located more on the ground connection. You might say ones that are more physical earth-based. The eagle, though, however, is asking you to expand your point of view a little bit higher so you can see more of the bigger picture of your life and the reality teachings that it has for you.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Is there any other questions from within the chat? I don't see anybody. Okay. So
Hi, Karen.
Oh,
It's
go ahead,
Celine.
Lucia. Sure, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. All right, so I'm experiencing some health problems at the moment.
All right.
And there's so many different modalities of healing, and I'm kind of asking for a shortcut. What would be the best thing for my problem, if you can read my energy at the moment?
Creating intense states of unconditional love within yourself that you can carry into whatever healing modality you resonate with.
Okay.
The more you can imagine and create the feeling and point of view of the state of being you prefer. Unconditional love, acceptance, appreciation, gratitude. Whenever you can go into this state and cultivate it in yourself, it will always accelerate whatever healing modality, whether it be diet, exercise, improved sleep, whatever it is, no matter what you choose. If you have that as your backbone, it will allow for the healing energies that are in resonance with these modalities to then more greatly impact your system.
Thank you. That was very, very useful. Blessings.
You're quite welcome. Blessings to you on your life.
Thank you. Autumn Rose has the question. She says, is there a physical feeling such as feeling dizzy when a shift to another reality or timeline occurs?
Yes, many of you will feel dizzy. Many of you may feel choked up. You may have different physical symptoms such as crying that can occur. Oftentimes, this represents a strong shifting of reality in such a way where different aspects of your being can very quickly bubble up, and it can cause alterations in how you're feeling emotionally or energetically. Other times, too, you can experience it as heightened states of energy, heightened states of clarity, of course, depending on how you shift and the level of resistance within yourself to the shifting you have agreed to do.
Mm-hmm. I can also just say, from my own experience, when I have very consciously shifted timelines, I've had incredible dizziness, so much so that I felt like I would throw up if I stood up. It was so very, very intense. So that's quite common. So if you've experienced it, and thank you for the confirmation. There's a question from Richard in the chat. He says, is my understanding that one young Essassani, not Sassani, but Essassani woman created the telepathic connection between all of your people? Is this the step that we will go through?
Yes. This is talking about one of our legends. We have an ancient name for this woman. Understand, she was one of the original dreamers of this reality. For when we were created, we were crafted in a manner that would allow for our telepathic link to be very easy to access. We also had alterations done to us from the beings you understand as the Basé, the Greys, as they are commonly called, that allowed for heightened states of empathy and heightened states of telepathy to be available to our kind, what you have come to know as the Sassani. We had this link stored within ourselves, and we essentially were learning through our new interfacing with the new hybridized bodies that had been created. We were experimenting with how to open these techniques, how to co-creatively use these techniques in a way that was based in our desires and passions and excitement. This legend is referring to one of the first members of our civilization, our society, our race, you could say, that was created, who allowed for herself to then generate that link, that knowingness, while in the physical, before other members of our society had been created. She was one of the first, you could say. When she did that, it wasn't that she linked her awareness to other members of our race in the physical. Because she was one of the first that was created, she began to become conscious of that link she had with all of the souls and consciousnesses that were going to then incarnate as her brothers and sisters. And that is what the story is talking about. She was one of the first members of our race that was created. And then once she engaged her unique biology with her awareness, she was able to bring the awareness of that telepathic link she had to all other beings that wanted to incarnate with her in these new hybridized bodies. She essentially helped that reality crystallize more for all of the souls that wanted to become, which you understand us to be as Sassani.
There's a question about the name. If you know the name of this woman or this female?
She does have an ancient name. We will say it at this time. This is when word emanations were still being utilized by our creators in this sense. One moment. The name would be 𝗪𝗧𝗓𝗏. 𝗪𝗧𝗓𝗏.
Okay, thank you for that. So, and thank you for reminding of the fact that your society now doesn't really operate on names. You operate on energy signature. Is that correct?
This is accurate, yes, as do all the other beings on our planet that we interface with.
Right. So the name that you have given to Tyler is purely for his recognition of
exactly. It is purely for convenience in this way. It does have relevance to my own energy in terms of how I understand the vibration, but I'm providing it just as a physicalized permission slip tool to connect with me a little more easily.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. And I believe that's the same as Bashar, because Bashar simply means, doesn't it just mean like messenger or?
Yes. Bringer of good news.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Thank you for that. There's a question from Steve. Steve, go ahead.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Well, I appreciate your passion for teaching and how active your species is with helping us understand. You certainly have a talent for it. My question is in relation to one of your brother hybrid races, the Yael, whether there's any faction within them that isn't too particularly fond of humanity. Yes, because I have plans of working with them in the future, and I heard that perhaps there's some of them that don't care for that effort too much.
There are members of the society that are less inspired and less excited to make the gap, to bridge the gap. We understand, though, that they are not excited out of negativity or not liking any of you. It's mainly that they have different passions, just as all of you have different passions, so you choose different options. And the members of our society that are excited to connect with you are actively doing so. Understand that even though the Yael, as well as our society, do experience ourselves essentially as one being, we are all playing many different games, and oftentimes these games will link up as themes. It just happens that there are members of that society, just as there are with our society, that are more invested in other aspects of the civilization and their own individual expressions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Sorry, I always have the impression that some of the people that are maybe not excited to work is because maybe the learning curve is too great and they don't want to take the time. Do you get that impression? Is that?
Yes, understand that there is a level of self-mastery required to actually do this type of first contact work. It takes a specific level of training and understanding, and this is typically something that is done from a young age. Understand that in addition to first contact specialists, we also have members of our society that are working on various levels with all of your higher selves and dreaming selves to assist you in being able to balance your energies, understand more of our society's cultures and teachings, and to actually begin to bring that into your own civilization. So understand that we bring the best of the best when we come to interface with you through channeled means. And as a result, there are other people in our civilizations exploring other themes that don't line up with this type of work, although it doesn't mean, again, that they are disinterested. It just means they're a little more interested in something else. Our societies do collectively tune into this dynamic because we are all telepathically linked in this way. So they are very aware of what is going on, and they will tune in to receive teaching and information if it's something necessary for them.
Right, right. Okay, thank you. So it's not anything, I guess, more maybe Steve's question had to be with, maybe there was some sort of resistance or disapproval.
Something I'll have to work against in my efforts in cooperating with him. You clear that up, my friend. Thank you very much.
You are quite welcome.
Thank you. There's a question from 𝗪𝗘𝗓𝗓 that you, if you're willing to answer, I will ask the question. But she wants to know, can you provide her any information or tips to make sure she's not afraid of snakes?
Well, remember, what you're afraid of is just teaching you.
Mm.
So maybe consider embracing the lesson, looking past the form of the teacher and just saying as a knowingness in yourself, I accept the lesson. I'm ready to hear the teaching. And you may find as you begin to accept the underlying energy and the underlying lesson the snake is emanating, your fear of the snake may actually start to dissipate and completely go away. You may also find, if it doesn't, that the snake is showing you an aspect of yourself that you are creating from utilizing the energy of fear. So it will serve double duty. It will show you your own shadow, and it will also deliver its unique teachings.
Is there a difference between fear of a snake and a healthy awareness that every snake is not your buddy, and maybe you don't want to pick every one of them up?
Absolutely. And that is why you have what you call the snake priestess of your world, who will actually dance and touch and kiss snakes on your earth.
Right.
They understand, yes, this snake could destroy the physical body's ability to be able to continue to hold my consciousness here on earth if I co-created that. But I understand that I don't have to fear that because I'm connected to everything, so my existence continues no matter what.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Is there any other questions? Lucia, do you have another question? Because I can't see you in the chat. And I wanted
Yes,
to...
I do. I know I'm on my phone, and that's why I can't write anything down.
No problem.
So thank you for letting me jump in.
Okay.
I have questions about Tyler, because with all of his experiences and you coming in, is he becoming a medical intuitive?
Yes, he's already exploring this.
And are you helping him in a way?
We are helping him mainly to continue to teach himself, because in order for him to be a medical intuitive, it's similar to how he connects with us. He has to suspend the idea of already knowing what's going to happen. Going into a state of allowing of information to unfold ensures that he's in the proper state to then perceive such information. So his relationship and being able to channel us is actually helping to support him in his pathway of medical intuition.
Thank you. I'm asking because I believe something is happening to myself. It's not with every client, but it's happened where a lot of information came through about supplements, and I was surprised. I know a little bit about health food and supplements myself. I was wondering if it was coming from myself or from some higher outside wisdom.
It's always both, without exception. Always both.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Of course.
There's a question in the chat from Christy Clark, and she says, do I have a shared soul connection in the Sassani, as I am connecting with a being called Shabin from Essassani? He says. Who's Chris? Who? Sorry, John. Who's he?
Christy Clark is
A man?
He's a male. Yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So Christy Clark is a man, excuse me, and his question was, he's connecting with a being called Shabin from the Essassani, but he's wondering if he has a connection also into the Sassani.
We are laughing.
Good.
Because we know this being.
Okay.
And he already knows the answer.
Okay, perfect. So you know Shabin of the Essassani. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and we are essentially saying that his human component on your planet is still allowing for this knowingness to begin to come through. And we laugh because of the ongoing game.
Perfect. Okay. So, haha, Christy. That's what I'm saying. All right, perfect. All right, so I just want to make sure that if there's any, is there any other questions, Dawn, on your side or not?
I have presented all the questions that I have had.
Okay, it's perfect, because this is a good time. I just wanted to make sure they were clear. I had talked with Tyler about 5G, and it was something that he has been talking about, but I thought from your point of view, because this is a big topic here on the planet, where I live in the Netherlands, they've started putting up 5G towers. They have in Belgium, which is only, right 2 hours away from me. The Belgian border is an hour away. They have ceased some of the 5G work until they can do some further studies on the health consequences. Can you tell us from your point of view what we should be aware of when it comes to 5G? What is your opinion on the health effects, good and or bad, and what should we really be doing with this?
All right. Well, understand it is, again, reflecting an aspect of your consciousness that's revealing to you that you are outgrowing some of your technology. When you invented the World Wide Web in this way, it was showing you the level of interconnectivity that you all have to one another. It was your technology just revealing that which you already know to be true about yourselves. It's just an externalized emanation of that knowingness. In many ways, you are learning about how connected you can be with one another using your technologies, but then also utilizing your internal psychic connections to one another. The implementation of 5G is essentially your corporation's attempt to accelerate the speed of this connection. And the idea is that it is, again, an externalized projection of something you already contain. You already contain the instantaneous downloading and knowingness needed to communicate with other members of your society telepathically and through synchronicity. And the idea is, as you begin to go more into that inner world of connection to one another and to all things, the less you will see it reflected within your corporate infrastructure of technology. It's prompting you as a negative reflection because it's neutral, but it is negative because many people in your world project negativity onto it. It's just showing you, oh, look, we're making another technology to fortify our externalized projection of the knowingness. And instead of saying, oh, yes, let's go there, let's build this, you're being presented an option to actually pull your energy away from that reality and then invest it more into the inner state of knowingness, to then birth more technologies in resonance with the inner knowingness. That's just one aspect of it. But we also see other aspects as well, because it is multifaceted, because there are many split off versions of Earth based on the implementation of the technology. It is very multidimensional in that sense. And you're giving this to yourselves so you can all accelerate even further in relationship to whatever desire direction you wish to go into. It's presenting many different access points to many different versions of Earth. That's why it's here. It's another step in your chapter of choosing your timeline.
So in reality, will there be a 6G, a 7G? Is it going to continue? Or?
There are versions of Earth where it does not continue, and there are versions of Earth where 5G does not actually become implemented.
Okay.
And the idea is right now it is playing a multidimensional role. It's essentially a hub. The theme of this is a hub for you to begin to use in whatever way you want, so you can go to whatever version of reality you want. The idea is it's reflecting this through its presence in the collective consciousness of so many people in your society, as well as the emotional states it brings up. That is why it acts in this manner, because it's such a common theme for so many of you.
Perfect. Okay. Alex has a question. Go ahead, Alex.
Yes, thank you for your diplomacy, but the question is simple. It is detrimental or not? Because we see on the 4G what is happening with the beings, with the fish in the water, is not only the ascension process in our solar system traveling in the universe. It's basically what electro smoke is doing to the planet, right?
You would understand that, yes, it does have different varying health effects on your systems. But again, this is depending, of course, upon what version of Earth you're on.
Yes,
It's not set in stone in terms of what it does. There's infinite variations of what it does. That's why we're not giving you a definitive answer. Because we're leaving it to you to create whatever version you want. Do you want to create a version?
Yes.
Let us finish for a moment. Do you want to create a version of Earth where you are experiencing its negative effects? If the answer is no, the idea is not to feed into that. But if you find you're experiencing fear of that possibility, that is the prompting you to transform the fear within yourself so you don't actually have to go to that version of Earth. So what it does will be very unique, depending, of course, upon what version of reality you shift to. We're not going to reinstate and reinforce the different fear-based perspectives of the health effects, because we know most of you have heard of what it is purported to do. But remember, how that plays out is actually up to all of you. So we are leaving that in your hands. We are letting you know it is a neutral, multidimensional prop, so you can essentially begin to transform your consciousness in a way that allows for you to go to whatever unique version of Earth you want to go. And that's based on its nature of invoking so many different emotional states within you that are reflective of other themes you've gone on in your timeline in terms of interconnectivity, as well as group themes of your species.
Yes, much better. So we need to change the frequency.
Of course. Of course.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Our pleasure.
Okay, perfect. All right. Don, what were you saying about jump point? What is that?
Well, I'm just saying that the jump point would be as being a hub. You can choose your own reality, much like he has just explained. It can be positive or negative, however you wish to make your future.
Okay. Sorry for that. I was sneezing as you were talking, so I do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay. So I have the impression, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that 5G is coming along because it's, as you said, it's an external manifestation of what's going on inside of us. And really, because the point of 5G is to allow for the massive amounts of information that is flowing to flow even quicker and even faster, that it's really an external version of telepathy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Can you tell me, in a society, when does that become internalized? And is your telepathy, is it mechanically assisted, or is it something that has been developed so much that it is inborn in you?
It is something that is both mechanical and natural to us. It is mechanically enforced through different satellite moons we have orbiting our planet, because our telepathy is linked to our connection to our planet. If we were not connected psychically and energetically to the planet, our telepathy would not be as strong. So we utilize these satellites to harmonize the emanations of our planet with our own internal states, so we can keep the telepathic link very strong and healthy when we are off planet. It is something that is very natural to our quasi-physicality. We still have quasi-physical organs in this way, which you understand to be a brain, heart, major organs. The idea is you would experience us in just a less dense manner if you were to experience us in that point of view where you're interacting with our quasi-physicality. The quasi-physicality is also reflective of the telepathic state because we evolved from physicality, and our physicality was engineered to be able to support that. So it is something that is, again, physically supported through our own biology as well as our artificial intelligence technologies on our world. But understand, it is reflective of the unique types of consciousness that incarnates within our society. We are all knowing of one another before we incarnate into our Shakani civilization, Sassani civilization. And as a result, we already had that level of interconnectivity pre-incarnation. And the idea is that we are beings that are choosing to reveal to whoever observes us that this level of telepathy is possible. So we have chosen the Shakani bodies, the Sassani bodies, as you would call them, to help reflect to others that this is a natural phenomenon that you can begin to capitalize on utilizing your own biology systems or your own technologies.
So based on your own physicality, then, is the human body equipped?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because we come from the original humans in that way. We are alterations of the original human design. We're based off of you.
Right. So right now, as we stand as a human race, we are actually ready to make that kind of jump in our own physicality, or do we have to go through some additional tweaking?
There's some additional tweaking, not so much in the way you think, though. The idea is you are already receiving telepathic messages, you just don't realize you're doing it.
Okay.
And as you begin to slip more into that knowingness, which is a state of being you're creating, you shift to a version of your body that has already created the knowingness and is utilizing it as a skill. And the idea is that as you become that version of yourself, you experience it as the passing of time. So you could say there's a little bit more time left, but really it's just an internal process of you becoming that version of yourself, and you're just experiencing that as time passing.
Okay.
You already contain it within you, though.
Okay. So is that the junk DNA? Is that?
That is connected to it, absolutely. You'll find it's actually highly valuable DNA.
I didn't name it. I just call it.
Oh, I know. We're teasing it.
So for 5G, how is that now going to facilitate AI or vice versa?
One of the ways that you could see this being in support of the AI is, as we said, as your society begins to take away energy from this technology, there's so much momentum going into it, it will cause you to want to invest it into other things.
Mm-hmm.
And this will start to birth more of the excitement into the idea of creating artificially intelligent systems that are aware not so much of ideas corporations and humans in this way desire, but is actually more inclusive of all of the different intricacies of all forms of life on your world. And the idea is that these sort of technological feats eventually prompt you to want to open that door. So it is connected in a way, but not in the way many of you may expect.
Okay, so what way is it connected then? If it's not
through the idea of accomplishing different technological feats, it can prompt your society into wanting to do something else that is, again, more sustainable, more healthy for your planet, because that's what many of your scientists and innovators are realizing is actually what is required.
Right, for it to become conscious.
Yes.
Right. I want to ask you if this is correct, but I know this from esotericism, and I know this from magic. And I also know this from the Hindu mystics, that there's a sort of fail-safe built in to the next level of consciousness that is love. And until you can align with that vibration truly, you don't go through the door, the next door.
Exactly. It is exactly that.
So even though your motives may be not so positive, eventually to ever be able to access it, you do have to go through that love transformation.
Absolutely, 100% required, because that is the key to all the doors of consciousness, because that's the fabric of all consciousness.
Right. So therefore, we're not really, and I know the alternate worlds and all the, I know what you mean about all the dimensions and shifting to the earths. But I mean, if you look at it from the big picture, we're really not ever in total danger of getting too much power, because we have to go to love to get it.
Absolutely, yes.
We're in love. Go ahead.
And you may understand that you may be able to use your power in a way that's not in resonance with love, but then you will not be creating what you call that next level of consciousness. You will be essentially stagnating within a particular level of reality and then creating different versions of it from there. And that can have positive and negative applications depending on how it's done. But the idea is that when love is the underlying vibration a being is utilizing, they will always climb the ladder because the love is actually guiding you. It is bringing you to a specific point of view and series of points of view.
Right. So even if you think you can avoid it, you really can't. And so you'll get there in the end anyway, to the love. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
You are welcome.
We have actually come to the top of our hour. I'll just ask one more time through the chat. If there's anyone that has a question, please, and Lucia, if you do, you need to jump in because I can't see if you're writing something. But if there's anybody that has a question, please let us know, and we can ask it before we go. Here she comes. I see her.
Yes. Hi, Karen. Thank you so much. All right. So my question has to do with, again, this healing that I have to go through at the moment, but I'm sure that others might find my question useful. Now, how can we ask you for assistance?
All right. Well, please keep in mind that we are in resonance with an aspect of your consciousness you could identify as your own higher self.
Yes.
In order to work with us, you must surrender to your own higher self. You must say to it, hey, out of my own choice, to be more of myself, I'm going to use my own higher self points of view. Once that lens, which is unique to all of you, is adorned, it then allows for you to be able to interface with our society much more directly because you will be in a similar enough vibration where you can tap into our telepathic network. Because that's the level of consciousness we are emanating, which you call your own higher selves.
Yes.
This would probably be the most direct way to begin to interact with us. There are also different symbols you can utilize to connect with our society, such as blue triangles. This is one way you can connect with us. Understand, too, through listening to members of our society, speaking through channels of your earth, you will also begin to shift into our awareness just through hearing our energy emanating in that particular way. The best way, though, the most crucial way, though, is the formula that our society constantly gives all of you, which is to follow your excitement, your passion at every given moment to the best of your ability that you're able to, with zero expectation of any particular outcome, and to continue to choose these options. That is the fastest way to connect to our society. When you are using these tools to then be in resonance with us, you can then begin to ask us for different perspectives telepathically, in your dreams, while you are awake, through automatic writing, whatever it is for you. You can then begin to ask us for different points of view that you can use to be able to assist yourself in your own healing process. The most crucial thing is beginning to match our vibration first. And that will ensure that you are better able to receive whatever it is we may set.
Thank you. It's very grateful.
As are we to all of you.
Thank you. I believe that's the last question, unless someone has something very quickly. But we always close with a blessing, and we would like to know if you would give us a blessing before we go.
All right. We would be happy to give you a blessing.
Thank you.
And we thank all of you for the equal co-creation of this interaction. Our unconditional love to all of you, all members of your society. We look forward to more interaction with all of you in the future.
Thank you very much. Much love to you, and you're always welcome. So, welcome back.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. That was very wonderful.